My name is Ebby Kemunto. I am 23 years old, or young, 23 years young. I am the last of 4 children. I'm my mother's happy-go-lucky child. I am my dad's favorite daughter. He won't confess it, but I know I'm his favorite daughter. My elder sister is one of my closest friends. My big brother is my favorite because I only have one, so I'm out of choices. And my big sister, not my eldest, my big sister is my jam donut. She knows what that means. She's the cutest thing you'll ever see. A lot of my life revolves around my family. My dad is my dad. He's a steadfast guy. He has never spoiled me a day in my life. And yeah, he's great. He does what he says he will do. He says no when he means no and yes when he means yes. And my mom is really sweet and she feeds me all the time. So I love my family. I ended up doing law, and I say ended up because that's what happened, because I ran out of options. When you go to public school, they give you a list from JAB to pick out your course. And my 3 courses were fashion design, music, and law. And I got an A- in KCSE. My parents are old-fashioned. So, my dad looks and you tell him I want to be a fashion designer. Like, you want to become a fundi, So out of all those 3 things, I went to law school. But I chose it because I thought I could do law, because everybody assumes I'm argumentative and, opinionated. And apparently that's what lawyers are. But it's not. But I am those things. When I went there at first, I had this idea that I was going to change the world, that I was going to, take names and put people in prison and be a prosecutor. And I thought I was really smart, especially when you come from a school where you're drilled to do exams, so you get really good at doing exams. Then when you get to law school and you have to start thinking and applying philosophy and doing so many other things that you're not used to doing, you realize that you're not the only smart one in the room, and sometimes you're the dumb one in the room. So I ended up doing law. I didn't choose it, but yeah, I like it, I think. I hope. Okay, if I were to change the world, I would change how we argue. I'd change how we listen to each other's opinions. Because in this day and age, we've lost the art of disagreeing. Everyone has to agree with you, and if you don't agree, you're on the wrong side. Especially for me, I feel like being a young person, if I'm not liberal, I have something to be ashamed of. I have to be the person who accepts everything and takes everything and sticks it to the man and wants to overhaul everything and overthrow. And when you're not that and you're young, everybody thinks you've been brainwashed and you've drunk the Kool-Aid and things like that. And I feel like there's no space anymore for people to be on opposite sides and be okay with each other. So if I would change one thing, I'd change that. I was speaking to a friend of mine, a classmate of mine. And a lot of times, especially in law school, everyone is always asking questions about whether or not we should criminalize homosexuality, whether we can apply morality to personal choice and things like that. And everyone makes this assumption that Christians are judgmental, and I'm a Christian and I'm proud of that. And people make an assumption that when you're speaking on the topic, that your opinion is already, it's already moot, you have nothing to say. And I remember when we were having this argument, I was telling her that when a Christian says, I love you, but I don't love what you do, that's not judgment. I love you. but I don't love what you do. That's what it is. It's the same way when I used to have this habit of eating sugar when I was young. So it's the same way. My mother has used her money to buy that sugar, and I'm here ingesting it, and she's not budgeted my indiscriminate ingestion of sugar into, she wondered, why do I always have to buy so much sugar? But that doesn't mean she does not love me anymore just because she doesn't love the fact that I finish her sugar and make her spend more money. I know that's maybe an oversimplified analogy, but I think the underlying principle is the same. It's possible to love people and accept them without accepting what they do. And that's where I think we go wrong. Because when you tell someone, I accept you, they think that acceptance must mean we must change our personal moral conviction for you to feel accepted. And no one recognizes that everyone has a right to hold their own opinions. Everyone has a right to exercise their convictions. And sometimes Christians, we really get a bad rep. Really get a bad rep for being judgmental. And I will admit, there are some people who are just, they're horrendous. They are. But most of us, it's genuine. And I don't think it's fair to ask people to let go of moral convictions that have probably gotten them through some of the hardest times in their lives, things that have encouraged them, and things that have formed such a strong foundation for how they live, to let go of that just so that you're comfortable. And me not letting go of that means you're not comfortable. It's unfair. All the way my Savior leads me, what have I to ask beside? My sisters sing, so does my mom, so does my grandmother, and my great-grandmother apparently was a great singer. She used to sing for railway workers, like on the side of the road, like she was famous. Yeah, she was famous. I had a really, really good teacher who was the best part of high school, because he was not one of those 844 teachers. Like he taught us things that were out of the syllabus, and he'd bring videos to class, and he'd use other material to get us to think, and his classes were always out of the box, and it was an exciting thing to go for music class. Jesus doeth all things well. Yeah. I don't date for 3 reasons. First, I'm not ready. And for me, being ready is something God will tell me. I know people wonder, how is he going to tell you? And the other day someone was telling me, someone pointed out, or I heard somewhere, that it's so funny that when we talk to God, it's called prayer, but when God talks to us, people call it schizophrenia. But yes, God will let me know somehow when I'm ready, especially because for now I've just finished school and I have to make something of myself. So I don't believe that you should date if you're not planning to get married. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is I intimidate a lot of young men just because I have a take charge personality that they misunderstand, okay? And so people assume, I've been told that I have horns, and that everyone makes it seem that when I get married, it will be my dehorning, because there's something wrong with being the way I am. So I don't want to date until I meet someone who accepts my personality and lets it exist the way it is. Because I don't think love is about accepting each other. And it's even dating and marriage, and those are things that teach us how to be of service to other people, how to love one another, things that we learn from the character of Jesus. So if God accepts me the way I am, the person who I date should accept me the way I am. And if at all there are any changes, it should be changes that are as a result of love and kindness, rather than, you need to be dehorned. Not a good look. And third, to be honest, I think I am a bit insecure, just because the way the world is liberal, and girls are taking charge and girls are doing things, and people look at me and think, you are so weird. Like, there is no, I don't know, I don't fit into the liberal space. I don't fit as a 23-year-old who believes, you can live with your boyfriend, or you can have more than one sexual partner, or, on Friday, hoeing is a thing now. It's a trend and it's okay. And, women have claimed sexual liberation and things like that. And when I talk, I seem like a prude. So there's this insecurity that, you'll go out there and you won't make the cut because you're not what everybody else is. So I'm really just staying in the safety of my father's house and being his daughter. And yes, my dad always tells me as a joke that don't worry, you'll definitely get married. We'll find someone who loves a glutton, because I love to eat. In the next 1 year, in an ideal world, I would have my dream job. I would really have my dream job. I'm really, really passionate about markets and competition and finance and economics. And my parents, I know deep down, feel like they wasted their money on a law degree, but I just figured this out, just this last year of law school, that I probably should have been an economist. But I would have my dream job. I would be, solving market problems and making small businesses run better and talking to consumers and figuring out why they buy things. Because, I really like observing people. And the law is definitely about people, but it's about people with problems. But, markets are about people just making ordinary decisions. And, you can tell so much about a person by the things they buy, when they buy, or how markets work. You can tell a lot about a country, you can tell a lot about a family. It's something that makes me really excited. And in an ideal world, I would have figured out how to become a financial analyst. I would have figured out how to, get in those doors and just be where the action is. Yeah, that's what would happen in a year. 2 fascinating people I know in my life. First is my dad. My dad is a steadfast guy. He's like a tree with roots all the way to the center of the earth. If he doesn't change. I don't even know how to explain it. Like if he starts doing something and he determines he will do something, he will do it every day at the same time, and with the same consistency if he can. He is so consistent. And what's fascinating about my dad is he never wants his character to be questioned. I don't know if that's arrogance or if it's something, but he will never do even the smallest thing, no matter how innocent it looks, to compromise his character. My dad is an engineer, or rather retired engineer, and remember when we were younger, we always wondered why we never went for trips and we never went for, these things. And every time gifts were brought to him at the office, he would never take them. When contractors would bring gifts to him, because he used to run projects for Kenya Power, and we'd always wonder how we never got these benefits. And he would say, I never want people to feel like I owe them, so that it one day puts me in a compromising position to do something that wouldn't sit well with my conscience. And even if we missed out on trips and chocolate and a lot of things, I can say confidently that my dad is not shady. He's not shady, and I can say that, and no one can shake that opinion on me. The second most fascinating person I know is my grandmother, my mom's mom. Frida Nangoni is just that woman. She had 11 kids, and she took all her girls to school, and she determined that her daughters would be educated. And of course, she's getting older now, and every time I visit her, she'll always tell me the story of how she took my auntie to school, and they crossed River Sondu. Yeah, they crossed River Sondu, and because my auntie had been taken away to be given away in marriage when she was in Form 1, and my grandmother wouldn't have it. She went and she got her daughter, because people didn't believe in those days that girls would be educated or should be educated. And she took my auntie, and she walked all the way to school. They crossed rivers that flooded, and she says that story with so much pride, because right now my auntie is a professor, and my aunties are educated women, and they are powerful women. So this take charge thing, it comes from somewhere, because all my life I've been surrounded by women who, even at a time when it wasn't okay to speak your mind as a woman, my grandmother encouraged that. And she, when we hear some of the things she did so that her children could go to school, it's not easy. And it's because of her that I can be this way. So I really look up to her, and she's so funny, and she sings too. Like she just bursts into song, which is also something me and my sisters do all the time. So she's a blessing. She's a blessing, and it's good to be able to say that I am descended from great women, especially her.